So we will continue with our first cohort or part or group of the 8th grade vocabulary list that we just started. So congratulations again for finishing the 7th grade list early. And here we go. Acquire, acquire. Say it out loud, acquire. Now whisper it out loud. Acquire. And it has two different meanings, but they're essentially the same in my mind. The first one is, this is A if you want to follow along on your homework. If you want to follow along with this sheet of paper here, and you should also pull out your vocabulary notebook and work in that. So the meaning is buy or obtain an asset for oneself. That would be like buying a stock in a company where you invest. That would be acquiring something. You could also acquire a diamond necklace. And it also means learn or develop a skill, habit, or quality. So, you might acquire a skill like in playing basketball, like you can hit the three-pointer. Or maybe a bad habit like Ponyboy in The Outsiders. He did acquire a bad habit, didn't he? And then here are some of our synonyms for acquire, or our samonyms. We have achieve, amass, buy, collect, gain, get, pick up, and attain. So you might buy or gain or get or pick up or attain a diamond necklace or a stock in a company. So again, these are our synonyms. Now pick a few that you like. I suggest you pick one that's kind of simple. But pick a few. And now up here, if you want to follow along, we're on C. C, antonyms, or the anti-names. Dispense. So we have dispense, forfeit, give, lose, scatter, surrender, spend, give up, let go, release, relinquish. So somebody could lose a diamond necklace. They might spend their stock. And then next, moving down the list, is our own definition. So this is a point where you triangulate the or reread the definition, the synonym, and the antonym, and you think about it for a moment, and you let that roll around your brain, and then you come up with a simple definition that even a fifth grader would be able to understand. So I came up with get or learn something for oneself. Get or learn something for oneself. And moving along down the list, our show sentence. I acquired the book I needed for reading 101. So basically, I got the book I needed for reading 101. And lastly, we have our non-linguistic representation. So I showed a young gal here. The money goes to the bookstore, and in return, she gets a book. Maybe it's the book she needed for reading 101. I also drew one for acquiring a skill. So my non-linguistic representation for acquiring a skill is there's the ground, there's a skateboard, number 1 says you slam down on the tail, and number 2 says you spin around your skateboard. So that would be how to do a 180 ollie. And that would be a skill that is acquired. So that was our first word for the week, acquire. And then we have our second word of the week, which is adequate, adequate, or adequately. So let's see if we could do this one on our own. You Google the definition, then you go to thesaurus.com and you write down the synonym and the antonym. Then you think about those A, B, and C. You triangulate it, let it bounce around your brain, and then you write your own definition. A definition that even a fifth grader would be able to understand. And then you write your show sentence. So that also comes from your brain. You have to put the word into practice, which is actually said to show true mastery of a vocabulary word is if you can use it in a sentence or in speech. And then lastly, the fun part, the non-linguistic representation. You draw a little picture without using words, and that picture represents the vocabulary word, adequate or adequately. All right, have fun and stay well.